Assalamualaikum all, welcome back to episode number 16 of Arabella's LCI. I hope you all are well, feeling happy and doing good. Well, if you remember, in episode number 15, we have begun the journey of fourth component of LCI, the market landscape. We have also talked about the LCI checklist 4, where we have learned 7 different items. And as you know the norm of LCI, of course, following up the component, we have to move on towards the templates. But today we are not going to talk about template in detail. Rather, what we will be learning today is one single item of the LCI checklist number 4, the item 3. I want to talk about CAGR value in detail with you today. CAGR, in fact, as its name indicates, is an acronym for Compound Annual Growth Rate. So, question here is that why it is important for an academic inventor and an entrepreneur to understand the CAGR score. We want to talk about the importance of the CAGR score for academic inventor today. When your invention moves on, of course, gradually an idea converted into a prototype. And then a prototype needs some strong funding from different investors. It can be a national grant, it can be an investment from venture capitalist, it could be a seed funding. It varies that at what time you need a funding. But it's not only a funding that is required by an academic inventor. The academic inventor are spending a lot of time and effort on a particular invention. So why not to work for an invention that have a future progress? In fact, CAGR value help us to understand that the time and effort that we are investing as an inventor, whether we are working for a progressive industry or not. There is a formula given for CAGR, and we've also seen that formula in the episode 15. So today we want to see with certain examples that how CAGR reflects that whether we are working for a progressive industry or not. There are different market report publishers that frequently publish the CAGR of different industries. For example, the CAGR value of surgical equipment shows its initial value at $5 billion in 2020 and $8.2 billion by 2025. So this shows a CAGR of 10.3% from 2020 to 2025. For another example, a CAGR value of automotive blockchain shows an initial value of $369.5 billion in 2021 with a final value of $1825.06 billion by 2028. And this shares the CAGR score of 30.5% from 21 to 28. Similarly, CAGR for Industry 4 has initial value of $130.9 billion in 22, $377.3 billion by 2029 with a CAGR score of 16.3%. For Semiconductor, the initial value is $573.44 billion in 22 and $1380.79 billion in 2029 with CAGR of 12.2% from 22 till 29. So you observed in different examples that different industries have different CAGR value. Now the question here is whether is there any significant breakup? Do we have a particular score could be considered as an important score beyond which we can consider it's a progressive industry? Well, it depends upon type of industries and it also depends upon age of industries. Suppose if we are talking about larger companies, the big companies having scored from 5 to 12% CAGR value quite shows a significant industry. Any score below than 5% for big companies would be considered as a poor industry. For small companies, it could be 15 to 30%, and any score smaller than 50% would be considered as a poor industry. And similarly for startups, the CAGR value score is even much larger. So the range here would be from 50 to 100%. And the startup coming up with a score less than 50% will not be considered as a progressive industry. So when an inventor looks up to the CAGR value, it's very easier for him or her to decide that whether the invention is for the progressive industry or it is not for the progressive industry. So it is always wise to choose an invention for an industry which have potential to grow in future. So this CAGR score in fact help investors to have a calculated risks already. Now where an academic inventor reach to this information? Well, there are different analysts who are already working on CAGR value and it's readily available on different websites. The different websites can help an academic inventor to reach to CAGR scores are Market Research Future, Market Watch, Business Wire, Fortune Business Insight, and others. So it is always feasible for an academic inventor and entrepreneur to look to these websites and explore the CAGR value before making a decision of investing the time and efforts on a particular invention. What we will do in episode number 17 is use this CAGR score for future inventions, for developing other matrices. I will talk about the further process of lean canvas for invention. By this time, thank you very much for viewing and take very good care of yourself.